You've been found with some pills on you. We don't know what those pills are. We don't.
What if they're
Listen. Maybe there's something really bad.
Yeah,
if you've got any secreted on you and you swallow them in my cell and you die, I'm in. We're going to strip search you. All right.
Imagine a child surrounded by all this in the middle of the night. This is the main police custody suite on Humberside.
Get off me! I don't need it right now!
In the midst of this, a young girl arrives. Her name's Sarah. She's 16 years old, intoxicated, and has been arrested for stealing a can of lager. She's to become one of an astonishing number of children to have spent the night in a police cell. In 2008 and 2009, there were at the very least 53,000 such instances in England and Wales.
She hasn't got anything medical on her, she's just upset.
Yeah, and she's going to get into it.
By mid-morning, Sarah's spent 9 hours in custody. Which cell is she in at the moment then?
She's currently in that cell there. That is what we call an adult cell, and she should be placed in a juvenile detention cell. But we've done a risk assessment in here, and that's a better environment for her to be in.
She looks pretty traumatised.
Yeah, she is. She is.
And very, very upset.
Yeah, she is. But also, you have to balance that with the fact that she's been arrested for stealing.
This is not the first time Sarah's been in trouble, but it is her first night in a police cell. The names etched on the back of this juvenile cell door hint at just how many children have passed through this custody suite alone. Close to 400 were detained on Humberside in 2008. It's not hard to imagine what impact being in one of these cells has on a child. Some of the police officers who work in a custody suite like this admit to having nightmares about what happens here. But there's a bigger issue too. This is the child's entrance into the criminal justice system.
It was really scary, being like in a small room, a cell really. I felt scared. I didn't know what was going to happen to me, what they were going to do.
Meet Jane. Last year, she was arrested for stealing a makeup bag from a department store in Hull. She was just 13. Did you have any idea when you got put in the police cell what could happen to you?
I thought straight away I was going to get a criminal record.
Do you remember what happened when they shut the door? What you thought?
It was like, how long am I going to be here for? I was feeling really, really scared.
What becomes scary for others is when the focus shifts to the scale of this practice. A Freedom of Information request by the Howard League for Penal Reform has found that over 2 years, 13,000 aged 9 to 13 were detained overnight by police, and another 40,000 aged 14 and 15. But only half the 43 police forces supplied information, and not included are figures for London.
So we may be talking hundreds of thousands of children being detained by the police, with maybe 100,000, who knows, detained overnight. We're not dealing with large numbers of serious offenders. We're dealing with children who are in need.
In Hull, children were being locked up with such regularity that the city was at one time third in a National League table for child custody. Crucially too, it was having little impact on reoffending.
We were way out of sync with anyone else. We were arresting high numbers of young people. Now that's not because we had an arrest policy that stipulated we would go out and arrest young people. Particularly it's because young people were committing a lot of offences. We had a revolving door though, where people that we were arresting would get a slap on the wrist and then be out offending again.
And would be back in a police cell?
Absolutely, back in the police cell. And there was no real concentration on trying to make them understand the consequences of their actions.
She needs somebody in with her, doesn't she? She's quite upset as well. She's finding it quite difficult. It's first time here.
This police custody suite has full-time youth justice workers. Michelle Gilbert's part of a joint programme now in its third year, designed to steer children away from the criminal justice system. She's alerted every time a child is brought in. She's now on Sarah's case, the 16-year-old who stole a can of beer.
What's happening?
Mum's coming, and she's going to be an appropriate adult, so she'll be about an hour.
A parent or guardian, known as an appropriate adult, must be present before any child can be interviewed.
She's very, very distressed. She's just in with a nurse at the moment because she's saying she's got stomach cramps, which have alleviated when I've chatted to her. So it's obviously that she's so anxious that she's actually cramping up.
What emerges during the subsequent meeting with Sarah and her mother is a whole host of emotional and social problems which lie behind the theft of a can of beer.
How does your dyslexia affect you? With your schoolwork?
Quite bad.
Is it? So how do you find it with the schoolwork?
Sometimes I don't want to cry about this.
It's okay. You okay?
For the scheme to help her, Sarah must be prepared to comply with certain conditions. Remorse is crucial. After her arrest and detention last year for stealing a makeup bag, Jane was made to say sorry.
I wrote a letter of apology to the manager of the shop, saying what happened when I got to the station and in the cell, and that I was really sorry.
Did you get a reply?
No, I don't even think they would want to reply, really.
The figures tell the story. Child reoffending in Hull has fallen dramatically. The numbers of children ending up in custody on Humberside have dropped by half, and there remains the will to drive the numbers down even further.
Clearly there are a very, very small number of children who are dangerous to the public and to themselves. It's very rewarding to see that the custody figures are reducing, but there are still far too many children being locked up.
What would you say would you describe you and your personality?
Horrible.
Really?
Sarah's long, lonely night is coming to an end. She's not going to be charged, but she can't leave until she accepts her life must change.
Do you want to tell me about yourself, John, before and I've caught your door? Okay.
It's now the afternoon. After 14 hours in police custody, Sarah's finally allowed to leave. She's avoided court and is now on the programme. There'll be no criminal record for stealing a can of lager. She'll get counselling, support for her future education, anger management, and a week on an alcohol awareness course. But she has to stay out of trouble.